The top 1% of retirees have figured out 6 specific purchases that are all time sensitive. Wait too long and the benefit shrinks. Make them at just the right time and you can enjoy more of the years that matter most to you. Today, I'm walking you through what they buy, when they buy it, and the exact checklist so that you don't waste your money on the wrong purchases. So let's get into the first surprising purchase. The number one thing that separates retirees that thrive socially from those who don't, they address hearing loss early. I know everyone says my hearing's fine, right up until they get tested and discover that they've had measurable hearing loss for years. The stigma is real, and believe me, I get it. I've actually had 70% hearing loss in my right ear since birth. But there is a significant difference when you actually fix it. Now, it's not just about hearing better, it's about energy. You go to dinner with a group of your friends, and instead of coming home feeling exhausted from straining to follow the conversations, you actually are energized. Studies measuring pupil dilation and heart rate show that modern hearing aids with noise reduction dramatically cut what's called listening effort. So your brain just works less hard trying to follow the conversation. And here's the part that should get your attention. The NIH ACHIEVE trial showed that treating hearing loss slowed cognitive decline in high-risk adults. Multiple studies link hearing aid use to lower dementia risk as well. So this really is a brain health investment as well as hearing health. But most people buy hearing aids completely wrong. They skip something that's called the real ear or probe mic measurement, where the audiologist verifies the amplification and makes sure that it matches your unique ear canal. Without it, you might spend thousands of dollars and still actually struggle to hear at restaurants. That's exactly what happened to one of our clients, where he tried to save some money by buying online, but there was just no one to do the fitting properly. So here's your checklist. Ask for a real ear measurement at the fitting and again at follow-ups. And get the trial return terms in writing, even though many states have a mandated minimum 30-day trial, but that's state specific, so you do need to ask your clinic for their policy. Then make sure you rate how exhausting a multi-person dinner feels before you're fitted, and then again about 6 weeks later once you're using your hearing aids. If that number drops, that's your real ROI on this purchase, which is pretty interesting to me. The top 1% check their hearing often, and when it is declining, they make this purchase earlier rather than later, before they start, whether knowingly or unknowingly, avoiding social situations. So don't wait until you already feel like you're withdrawing. Now, hearing helps you engage socially, but the next purchase is what lets you sleep well enough to have the energy to show up in the first place. Here's what I see all the time. Someone comes in, they're struggling with energy, mood, they feel a lack of mental clarity. And so we're talking about their routine and what they're doing. And eventually I ask, well, how are you sleeping? And they say, fine. I mean, I wake up a few times throughout the night, but that's normal our age, right? And no, it's common, but it doesn't have to be necessary. And it can cost you a lot in the long haul. You see, sleep quality directly impacts your cognitive function, emotional regulation, immune health, and even longevity. The research is actually quite overwhelming. Poor sleep accelerates cognitive decline. It increases fall risk because of the impaired balance and reaction time. And it really just undermines every other health intervention that you might try to make. You can have the perfect exercise routine, perfect nutrition plan, but unfortunately, if you're sleeping poorly, you're building on a broken foundation. So what's the actual purchase here? Well, it's 3 components. First, you're going to need a mattress that meets your current needs today, not the firmness that you needed 20 years ago. Bodies change, pressure points change. So if you feel like you're waking up sore or kind of tossing and turning all night, your mattress might actually be working against you. Second is going to be temperature control. Your core body temperature drops while you sleep, and most bedrooms are actually too warm. So whether it's a cooling mattress pad, adjusting your thermostat, or blackout curtains to keep morning heat out, temperature matters way more than people think. Third is going to be true darkness and sound control. Even small amounts of light can disrupt your sleep architecture. And I know personally for me, if there's a nightlight in our room or in the hallway, I actually have to black it out because I can feel that light as I'm trying to fall asleep. Blackout curtains or quality sleep masks and a white noise machine or earplugs can be really great tools if you need them. So your checklist here is going to be not to shop based on the firmness of the labels, but really if you can, go to a store and test the mattresses for different pressure relief based on your actual sleep position. Some people are chest sleepers, some sleep on their back, and side sleepers. It all matters. And then make sure you aim for your bedroom temperature between 63 and 69 degrees or so. You're going to want to measure your sleep quality with something simple. So you can try and focus every morning that you wake up on your mental clarity and your afternoon energy. before and then after you implement these changes to see if you feel sharper in those moments. Most clients tell me that they thought the fatigue, the brain fog, and the irritability, they thought it was just part of getting older. And maybe to some degree it is, but sleep systems are infrastructure, not luxury. And spending money on these can really make an impact through all other facets of your life. And once you are sleeping well, the next purchase lets you build the physical capacity to actually do things in retirement. Here's what I tell every client. What do you want to be doing at 75? Almost everyone says some sort of travel, maybe playing with their grandkids, hiking, volunteering, anything like that. And then I ask, what are you doing now to make sure that you can still do that at 75? And that's where things sometimes get kind of quiet. The research is crystal clear. Consistent exercise can help reduce falls, improve strength, and gait speed, and extend your walking distance. Translation, easier stairs, less fatigue on day 2 of a trip, and confidence that you can do the things that you want to be doing. This is why I say, don't just buy a gym membership. If you can, buy coaching. 1 to 2 supervised sessions per week with a trainer who actually specializes in people over 60, plus homework for the days in between. If you can do this for just 12 weeks, that's your purchase. So your trackable metrics here would be do 30-second sit to stand tests. So sit in a chair, stand up, sit down, stand up, and count how many reps that you can get. Try not to get dizzy or anything like that. So poor scores are going to correlate to potential higher fall risks. Now, after the 12 weeks, if you see a gain in several reps, that means that the work that you're doing is meaningful and you should continue it. So your checklist here is going to be to buy coaching, not just a gym membership, because it's going to make sure that you keep showing up and that you're working harder when you're in those working sessions. And then use the sit to stand test as your baseline and then retest every 4 to 6 weeks. Really commit to this work and the homework in between sessions, whether that's your own physical work at home or just more walking to get more capacity going in the body. And here's what clients tell me about 6 months in. It's that this is a purchase that seemingly changed everything for them. They're doing things that they thought they might have to give up as they get older. And that's going to bring us to the next purchase, which lets you cash in on that physical capacity that you're building. But most people actually do it completely wrong. Here's the pattern. Someone retires, they've saved diligently, they want to see the world, and they book the exact same aggressive trip that they did when they were 40 or 50 maybe. 15 cities and maybe 10 days. Just a lot of travel, a lot of lugging of luggage, and everything that comes along with it. But they come home and they feel exhausted, maybe even injured from hauling all that luggage. And they say, I guess we're just getting too old for travel. And no, you might not be. You might just be traveling wrong. So the surprise in travel comes from slowing down and traveling maybe in small groups. Shoulder season tours with 12 to 16 people max, and then maybe 3 activity blocks per day. So you're not overdoing it and putting strain on your body and everything else that comes along with it. Research on structured social participation shows that group-based activities reduces loneliness and it's going to improve your well-being. That social rhythm, doing things with people on a schedule, is really what people remember and what they crave, whether they realize it or not. And by working in a group that's kind of catered to the 55 plus group, you can minimize luggage handling and reduce injury risk for yourself. Less strain means that you enjoy the trip more instead of nursing maybe a sore back by the time you get back. Now, here's the math on this one, because I know you're thinking small group tours are expensive. And I don't disagree. They are definitely more expensive. And that tour might cost maybe $2,000 or $3,000 more than if you try booking it by yourself. But I promise you it's going to be worth the investment. If you avoid injury from handling luggage, or just build great relationships with new people that you would have never met if you went by yourself or maybe just with a friend or family member, you could be looking at, skipping ER visits, physical therapy, and just really enjoying your money more. So for a couple $1,000s, I think it's definitely worth it. And hopefully you come home and you don't feel like you need a vacation from your vacation, because that's kind of an ultimate letdown. So your checklist for this purchase is going to be to look around and try to find different tour groups and see one that might align with what you like and what you're thinking. Don't try to find one that's going to schedule 5 to 6 different activities per day. So maybe limit it to 3 if you can. Make sure you're looking for like a 2-night minimum stay, just so that you're kind of not traveling all the time every day. And make sure the group is reasonable, maybe like 14 to 16 or under. And make sure you ask about different like elevator access and average walking distances. If that is something that could impact your trip, it's better to know that on the front end. Now, once you're traveling smarter, the next purchase is about coming home to a house that's going to work for you instead of against you. This might feel like an admission. We're not ready for grab bars. Then someone slips at 2 a.m., or they can't see in the hallway, or their hands just hurt from using all the doorknobs in the house. And suddenly fine doesn't really feel fine. Home retrofits aren't about frailty. They're about friction, right? Every day you're navigating obstacles. Maybe it's a shower slip, maybe it's just dim lighting and it's hard to see, or you have round doorknobs and they're hard to open. And it really can all add up when you're there all day, every day. The research is unambiguous. Home modifications like better lighting, grab bars, and threshold removals are key fall prevention levers. But the surprise benefit is really just daily comfort. Fewer near-miss slips, easier nighttime navigation, and less joint load. So your checklist here is to prioritize non-slip ratings and high contrast lighting in your house if you can. You can actually get a licensed occupational therapist or physical therapist to come to your home and evaluate how well your space fits your body, your routines, and your personal risks. So the goal here is to reduce falls and daily friction and prioritize the fixes that are going to have the biggest impact. And an easy way to see if these modifications were actually worth it is to count nighttime near slips before and after. But here's what's interesting. Once done, clients almost never regret these modifications. The only regret is just waiting until after a scare to do them. Now, these first 5 purchases are about your physical environment and capacity, but the final one addresses something most people don't realize is killing their quality of life in retirement. And I'll tell you, here's retirement's dirty secret. It can be socially isolating, especially at the start. You lose the structure of work, weekly meetings, lunch with colleagues, and really just reasons to be leaving the house. And suddenly, you're in charge of creating your own social life from scratch. And a lot of people say, I'm not really a joiner. But here's what the research shows. Group-based, scheduled activities have the clearest signal for reducing loneliness and improving well-being. Whether it's music groups, volunteerism, or really just any event with a fixed time every week or maybe a couple of weeks. The most common feedback I hear is that I didn't think I'd like this, but now it's really the favorite part of my week. I'm always looking forward to the next time we're all getting together. So once your attendance becomes routine, the stress and the resistance really disappears. You realize that structure is really just what you needed. So the purchase here is whatever is going to align to your interests. Maybe it's your church choir group, maybe it's an art group, or just different volunteer shifts, or really anything that you might have to pay and show up on a schedule. I do truly believe that the financial commitment does create accountability, whether that's through fees or through donations. So your checklist here is to choose organizations with fixed slots, not just drop-ins or random meetups. And it's going to help you stay accountable. You can track your attendance percentage, and you can even use the UCLA loneliness scale to measure change. So before you started doing activities, and then maybe 6 or 12 months later. And it's this type of work that is very difficult to get started and to get moving on, but it's one that clients tell me because they initially resisted it, they value it so much more now, and they're happy that they kind of got pushed through that. So the top 1% figured out that paying for structure is actually worth more than just unlimited flexibility. So there you have it, 6 purchases the top 1% of retirees make. But here's what ties those all together. They remove friction, they reduce exhaustion, and they buy back the life that you want and deserve in retirement. But they are time sensitive. So the biggest mistake is waiting until something becomes a crisis. By the time you need grab bars, you might be already recovering from a fall. By the time you need hearing aids, you might have withdrawn socially for years. Or by the time you need strength coaching, you might have already stopped traveling because you just didn't think it would work for you. These work when you make them work before you think you might need them. And that's really the key here. And if you want help thinking through how these different ideas might fit into your retirement spending strategy, or wondering what else you should be prioritizing, I'd encourage you to click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen to schedule a discovery call with my team. We work with clients all over the country who want to actually use their money in ways that are going to improve their lives and the lives of people that they care about. Thank you for watching, and I'm excited to see you in the next one.